live. Are we live? We're live. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this technically inept edition of OPNoobs Should We Cover It show. This is the show where we go through the best and the worst that Steam has to offer. We're going to highlight the best, the worst, and the we have a couple of different new faces, but before we get into that, OPNoobs, if you don't know what we are, if you're just joining us for the first time, we are a community of PC gamers that review, do editorials, do interviews with developers on a weekly basis. Check us out at OPNoobs.com. If you think that you can do better than some of us, hey, go ahead and shoot us an email. Don't register on the site, because as we found out, it doesn't work right now. But we'll get to that in a little bit. So let's go around the table and just kind of introduce everybody. We've got some new faces and some old faces and some faces. So starting into whatever direction that he might be in, it is the Grand High Poobah, the reason we are all here, and the thing that we yell at the most, especially during an election year, CEO and President and Grand High Potentate of OPNoobs, Fred Breezy. Fred, why are you here? I mean, how are you doing?
I'm just gonna up with Go Donald.
And we're gonna move on from there. So,
Donald.
Stylo, our intrepid and beleaguered engineer, can you mute him for the rest of the show? The next face that usually shows up on this show, R. Kelly, Robert Kelly, one of the most prolific reviewers that we've had on the site. For some odd reason, he just keeps writing stuff and we keep publishing it. Kelly is also one of the most commonly seen faces on the interview circuit for OPNoobs, and he also joins me in doing commentary for E4I, which is Esports for Indie, our wonderful little program, which we'll pitch later in the show. Kelly, hey.
Hey, nothing to say. You just like Fred introduced everything.
I did, as a matter of fact, but he's got this kick-ass image of Ness behind him. So move your head. There? Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're going to move on. Caitlin. Oh, Caitlin, our sick, intrepid interviewer and reviewer who is currently wearing a fetching shade of powder blue. How are you doing today? You had some trouble with your computer, right?
Yeah, I opened a Trojan last week and I had so many viruses that I couldn't fix it.
But we can hear you now.
So that's kind of so many jokes with that.
We are not going to go that far in. Remember, this is a dry episode. So we have some new faces on this. But before we get to the new faces, the older face, which isn't moving right now, which is broadcasting to us live from the International Space Station, Adam Wheeler. Hi. Adam? Oh, I'm sorry we lost him.
This is one successful setup, guys.
Is he still there, or did we lose him?
No, just move on. Just move on.
I'm going to move on. So we have two new faces today. I flashed 4, but we have 2. The first one is actually someone that we actually stole. Yes, we stole them from their community from the last E4I tournament, Red Solstice, with Raylak. Why are you here? You're coming to us from a fjord somewhere, from what I can see.
You had enough already?
Yeah, from 2:30 in the morning here, and because I'm tied up in a basement somewhere.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
This is how you kidnap all the people.
Eminem is coming.
Tell people on Twitch.
The truth of the matter is, help is coming. We're sending a very, very old dog. I think it's going to be a St. Bernard. It might be a Chihuahua, so it all depends on what you get. Speaking of Chihuahuas, our newest acquisition, who just came from the base, Tyler.
How the hell am I a Chihuahua?
You're not the Chihuahua. The Chihuahua rescued you. But it's a good segue either way. So Tyler, if you don't know who he is, we actually don't know either. He was tied up in our basement, in our studio basement last week. He's here now. Tyler, how you doing? You okay?
Pretty good. The whole basement experience was admittedly pretty traumatic, but I'm seeing my therapist about it, and I'm happy to be on the show, or at least I've convinced myself that I am, and I'm really excited for what we have in store today.
Oh, welcome. Welcome everyone once again to the show that never ends. It never begins either. This is the Should We Cover It show, where we If you have just joined us, I'm sorry. If you've been here, I'm sorry. Where we go through the best and the worst that Steam has to offer, and we're going to take the trailers on total face value. We may or may not have a dropping by of the Donald later, but we probably won't. Maybe
Please
Bernie,
no.
because maybe Bernie Sanders, because he's obviously not doing anything. Same with Ted
More
Cruz.
people need to feel the burn.
Yeah, and people need to cruise more. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we could also get a prime minister in just because we've got an international flavor of this show right now. So we're going to get right into the first one. Stylo, God help us all. If you please, let's get to the first trailer. What's going to happen? Kelly, you're going to read the description for the developer. Caitlin is unfortunately ill, so I don't want to make her do it. Tyler,
Yes.
if you could, since you can speak again, I'm going to
Wow.
send you a link to a thing. You're going to read
Okay.
the developer description.
It's
after
Lemon
Kelly.
Party.
It is. No, it's Two Girls, One. Whoa, wrong show. I'm sorry. That's what we meant. So, without
That's
further
the
ado,
show I wanted to watch.
by the
Oh.
way, for any developers that are watching, I'm sorry. We're going to get into the first one. The first game is RefRain Prism Memories. So, Kelly, if you could, tell us about this game.
RefRain Prism Memories is an empowering cyberpunk bullet hell shoot 'em up that focuses on fast-paced offensive gameplay. Dive into hazardous digital world. Okay. Cycle through 3 different attack modes and delete the opposition with superior firepower.
Okay, Tyler, tell us about the developer.
So it looks like the
Are you
Oh.
guys hearing what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
So much again.
Tyler is also coming from
of the project.
Space Station. Tyler, hang on, stop, man. Yeah. No offense,
Breaking
Tyler.
up.
I'm gonna be doing the studio background. Nothing
He
but
says,
the
keep afloat, Steven. You're doing great. Stay afloat. We're off to a strong start.
This
Oh,
is
it's
beyond
Fred.
hilarious.
Awesome. So, RebRank or Team RebRank is a Japanese game development organization that are the creator of Project Blank series, starting with Samadare. So, judging from what we're seeing, I think I need LSD to play this game. But at the same time, I loved the hell out of Ikaruga. So this actually feels a lot like Ikaruga. Kelly, and then hopefully we'll get Tyler back when his connection works.
This looks pretty cool. The description was a little off-putting just because there was such like a mash of genres. But now that I'm seeing it, if this game were, and I hope it's like a little bit cheaper, I would definitely see myself playing it. Looks fun.
Okay, fair enough. Raylak, you're a new face on this whole thing. What do you have to say?
I should probably start by saying I hate the hell out of bullet hells because I pretty much suck at them. So this game's not looking for me, and I think we have a bit of a translation error with delete the enemy.
Okay. That's fair. So you're just bad at bullet hells, or you just don't like them? What's the deal?
Oh, both. I suck to high hell about them.
Okay. That's fair. Fred, I know this isn't exactly your cup of tea. It is a bullet hell. It's not like a super, super high-end graphics based game. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, my thoughts are, it used to be my cup of tea but like when I was a kid, honestly. And it doesn't mean it doesn't say anything negative about this game whatsoever. It's just I see a lot of those trailers, right? Like we see those games coming in every once in a while. I'd say every 6 weeks or so. There's a game that looks exactly like that. And that's where I kind of fall short of understanding how to approach those trailers or even those games as a whole. Is like. And we just lost Tyler, but you probably come right back up. At least I'm hoping. Sorry if this layout got all messed up. But I guess my question is, like what kind of keeps those games alive? Like, is it just a rinse and repeat, and that's kind of all that we're expecting? Just keep them coming, keep them rolling, and I guess that's fine. Or are those developers actually taking the genre and approaching it in a way that keeps it evolving? Because I'm not seeing. Yeah, you're back, Tyler. Great. Like I
Yes.
guess what I'm saying is I'm failing to comprehend what type of pathway is viable, is even possible for these type of games to evolve. They don't seem like they're evolving.
So before we get into that, Tyler, I'm glad to see that you fought off your attacker. We tried to tell you the call was coming from inside the house.
I should have paid more.
Yeah, that was pretty spooky. The
Yeah.
International Space Station just crashed into my apartment, but everything's okay for now.
Good.
Wait,
Nice.
did you rescue our other streamer?
No, we picked a really
Oh,
bad
we,
time to go dry on this show. So that being
Seriously.
said, to answer Fred's question though, why do bullet hell shooters still become popular? Why do we like them? A little bit of ADHD, but I think the other reason is because bullet hell shooters are probably the backbone of the arcade game experience. All the
said.
best games in the history of the world, from Tempest all the way to today, bullet hell shooters are always frenetic. They're twitch shooters. They're basically completely either skill based or just hand-eye coordination based. So it is really something that either you're naturally good at it, like some of us, or you're Raylac. So
And
it
where,
really just
Steven,
depends.
where do you think the fan base is? Is it on PC? Is it on mobile? Is it on, I dare to say, PlayStation Vita and Nintendo DS? Like, who plays those games?
I think everybody plays the games. I think console peasants and PC Master Race both enjoy the heck out of bullet hell shooters. My best experience, honestly, was a game that we reviewed, which wasn't really a bullet hell, but it's close. But at the same time, there are.
I think
really,
you're
really
thinking
good-
Star Force Anniversary or Skyforce.
I want to call it. I want to call it Skyforge, but I know it's got
Skyforce.
Yes,
Skyforce, yeah.
and that's a
Anniversary. It was
mobile
a
game.
remake.
That was a mobile game done right, where it translated well to Steam, and it just worked out well. But when you think bullet hell, if you're thinking of consoles, you always think Ikaruga, and that's also on Steam, which is wonderful. But
Is it reasonable for us to criticize, I guess, the PC version of a game like this, especially when the trailer doesn't come in 1080p or at least in this type of a format? Like, you look at the screen right now on the stream, and it doesn't even fit our screen. It's like it wasn't built for us. It wasn't built for a PC gaming audience.
No, it was built for an arcade audience. If you've ever played a stand-up console, oh man, those sidebars, the only thing that's missing is actual art style. Even though it's not a 1080p game, even though it's not full screen, it's still a gorgeous looking game. And we've got a lot of bullet hells on PC. Geometry Wars, bullet hell. This game, bullet hell.
Enter the Gungeon, which ended up being
cited.
ended up just getting pretty popular on
Yeah,
Steam
very,
too.
yeah, big success, I think.
And
I'm
remember,
trying to
if
figure
you
out
throw-
those. What's
Yeah.
with the anime bits?
anime sells,
Are they-
man.
People
right?
like them.
It's Japanese. It has to have anime.
Yeah, there's
That's where you are, right, Raylock?
It's
No,
yeah,
not yet.
it's
I
such
intend
a,
to be.
it's such I feel like that's he hit it on the spot. Like, that's such a fair question. More and more so the moment something kind of from Asia, I feel like and they're trying to market it for an American audience, or like, just for lack of a better term, an Occidental audience. You immediately they throw the hot Asian chicks anime style at you, like that's gonna increase sales. Do you think that actually does? Do you think
Don't you dare try and
Your
take that
companies
away
think so.
from us.
I don't
but-
know. I think
Like,
Yes.
do you think, honestly,
It
do you think
boosts
like
sales
Americans
a
look at
significant
this and the
amount.
moment they see the anime girls, they go like, "That's for me." Like,
I can
I
almost
think
guarantee-
Fred. I think that if people
That is
are
funny.
capable of buying body pillows with anime figures on them, buying a game for much less with anime figures in it is pretty highly plausible, I would say.
How many
so
do you
to
have,
answer your question, yes, and Kuniko will stay in her room tonight.
yes, she will. Oh, yes, she will.
That's fair. Caitlin, as the estrogen that we need on this show,
Do you think?
what do you think of this game?
I'm actually serious. Do you take offense in the fact that they're throwing like chicks at us, manga style, to sell the game?
No,
So-
as long as when the game is played, that I guess like those characters are incorporated somehow, even if it's just like this
They're the
character
ship
is your
pilots.
ship, or this character controls that ship. It'd be fine, and it kind of looks like it. They have names. It's doing a presentation for characters. So I'm going to presume here that there is a probably not very good, but storyline that goes with this game.
So, Caitlin, what is your opinion now that we've heard from Kelly?
I don't mind the anime style, the figures. If
Okay.
there's characters, there's characters. They're probably flying the ships. I mean, that would be my biggest guess. Me, I hate bullet hells. I can't play them. They seem boring to me. The last ones I enjoyed were Tetris and Tetris Arranged from the PS2 Namco Museum, and that was like 15 years ago. So whenever we get a bullet hell coming across our table, I'm like very ambivalent about it. I mean, people love them. They go crazy over them. The things that I had thought would not be popular have become so popular. And
I'm trying to figure out what a Tetris bullet hell looks like. What exactly is a Tetris bullet hell?
I
Like
assume that
Tetrisphere?
was bullet hell when you're going down a path and bullets are coming at you in different.
And those
that's all
bullets
bullet
form
hell.
lines that
When
get
you're-
you
yeah.
points.
When you're in a ship and things are coming at you, it's a bullet hell. They all are the same.
I would
All
say,
of-
like, Caitlin, to defend you, actually, like Tetrisphere. That's like a really fast Tetris
and I-
game. You have to pay
and
attention the entire time.
And I also want to add that if I was selling drugs at a rave, I would probably name one of them
this-
the
this
Tetris
game-
bullet hell. Oh man, you gotta try the Tetris bullet hell.
What is it? Oh, it's a little.
Fred,
It's
you
the
would
L
not be a
with
very
the
good drug
Q.
dealer. I'm just putting that in there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just
To Americans,
the Tetris bullet hell. That's you gotta keep me up all night.
I am
Shush.
sick. I'm on Benadryl. I meant Galaga. Oh my god.
Oh,
Okay,
That makes more sense.
Tetris is a bullet hell. It totally is.
we're just gonna move on.
I was
it's-
going to about. I was about to
like-
say.
This conversation is going down.
I have a much more serious point to make if you want.
he
I can
started
recover
taking
this. I can recover this.
Go ahead, Raylac.
Right, because it's actually a Japanese game, like the manga part, it's probably not there just to throw at Americans to make you buy the game because you see females in it. It's actually a much bigger part of the culture there. It's just sort of,
True.
it's something you have every day. It's like you and having McDonald's everywhere.
Yeah.
You just see
I don't have
McDonald's
McDonald's
everywhere.
every
you're used
day.
to it.
That
Not
would
every
kill
day,
you.
Just you see it everywhere. Can you drive
That's true.
somewhere more than an hour without driving past a McDonald's?
I can't look outside without seeing a McDonald's.
Well, you decided to live there just to be near the McDonald's. That's your
Well,
thing.
no, I'm just high enough where I can see all the poor people, so it all works out. But we're gonna move on.
we gotta
Yes,
get you a raise.
In
We're
Japan,
gonna
if
move on. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Raylac. Finish your
in
thought.
Japan, if you decide to travel anywhere, you are going to see manga and anime advertised somewhere on your journey. There will be a billboard with them up somewhere. It's sort of part of the culture over there.
Yeah, that's just like how Hatsune Miku is, big over there, and unfortunately we have Justin Bieber. So women are making it in the entertainment industry. I'm just saying. So we're gonna move on to the next one. We're gonna move on to MoonStone Tavern, which sounds like an old IRC chat room I might have frequented.
And another great name for a drug dealer.
Moonstone.
Moonstone. Well, okay. Let's see here.
You
Go.
want to have some Tetris bullet hell tonight at the Moonstone Tavern? Yeah, man.
Go on, Kelly. Please bring us back to some semblance of something.
Okay.
Perfect.
Moonstone Tavern. With the death of your grandmother, you have been left with the once famous Moonstone Tavern. Unfortunately, the tavern has seen better days. With only 2 functioning rooms, crumbling architecture, and an ever-diminishing reputation, there is plenty of room for improvement.
RPG Maker.
Was that part of the description, or was okay? I'm not going to go into that. Tyler, since you're back, could you please read us the studio background for Moonstone Tavern.
Second time's a charm. Okay, studio background. Here we go. I'm going to read it. FlynnFour Games, 2-person indie developer. Oh, that's it. Okay.
Brilliant! We're part of the team now. Okay.
Yes,
So,
I did it.
oh, goodness. Okay, so Moonstone Tavern. In the past, Fred, we have been, both you and I have been very, very critical of RPG Maker games. What is your opinion of this very obviously RPG Maker game?
Well, actually, to be frank, I feel like we haven't. We've been pretty open-minded when it comes to RPG Maker, and I feel like even so, rightly so. You know, it's good. Look. You don't need to be a technical genius, a coding monkey to make a good game. And I feel like RPG Maker recognizes that and allows people that maybe don't have the skill set to actually drive us through a story and an RPG. Now, I'm not too familiar with the software itself, but it seems to be a popular tool that can create some successful products. And it's hard it makes it twice as hard for us to judge an RPG Maker just based on a trailer, because let's face it, they kind of all look the same. So I don't know what to make. I don't know what to make of this one. I've got to say, I feel like it's got some charm. It's not overly impressive. It's an RPG Maker again, but I'd say I'd give that to a new writer for sure. And I would, you know what? We've never actually, to close on that, we've never interviewed developers who came up with a game with an RPG Maker, and I feel like that this may be the one. This may be the one that actually gets on our Twitch channel and talks about the pros and the cons.
Well, to be fair, just because we're saying it's done in RPG Maker, that's usually a pejorative. For all you people that don't know what that is, that's a bad thing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it really is a bad thing. I've seen some really good RPG Maker games. It's already said in the chat, To the Moon was a good RPG Maker game. But at the same time, it doesn't necessarily mean it was made with RPG Maker. It just has that 8 or 16-bit flair, like the old JRPGs. Caitlin. And scream if you could.
I am looking at it not for the canvas, which is RPG Maker. I was drawn by the story. The kind of story that they want to tell us is a freaking adventurer who inherits a once renowned tavern. That is freaking awesome. That is, if you were playing D&D, everybody would want to play that campaign. At least I would. Okay? So I think that we should review this. I want to see what story this creator was trying to bring us, and I want to see if it's any good.
Legitimately, as somebody that's played a lot of tabletop stuff, I always wanted to be that bartender that had to deal with all these friggin' adventurers and whatnot, screwing up my bar. And just the opportunity to deal with things like, where am I going to get my mead order this week? Sounds fun. Raylak, do you have any opinions of this whatsoever?
A lot of people dislike the whole graphic style of RPG Maker, but I love the old style games like this, and I am the complete opposite of a graphics whore. I don't mind if my game looks terrible, as long as it's got a good story to it. However, I mean, from the description of the game, I kind of expected it to be some sort of like Facebook style game where I just sit there and I upgrade my rooms and earn money each day, and then upgrade more rooms and earn more money. From the trailer, I'm not sure what to make of this game yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of attacking for somebody that's apparently supposed to be doing and running an inn. Yep. I wouldn't have expected. I was expecting something more along the lines of like the standard football manager type of sim type of thing. But, you know, from the trailer, this is really getting my attention. Kelly, you said some slightly disparaging things in the chat. What is your opinion?
You know, it's not like I don't think it's one. I would like to say that the first game I reviewed for OPN was Wastewalkers, which was a RPG Maker game. And after watching this a few times, I'm kind of liking the options they're bringing up. The graphics don't bother me a lot. And I mean, I know 2 RPG Maker games specifically, besides To the Moon, that were really good. If anyone played Celestial Tales Old North or Machina the Planet, both of those games were really fun RPGs that told really good stories. So like this one, my impression when I was reading the description was I was like, oh, this is kind of like Stardew Valley-esque. But then the more I see it, the more I see it, it is different in its own regard. It has similarities as it might have, but I don't know. I think this should be played, and I also agree with what Fred said before that it would be fun to almost interview someone that made one of these games just to see, like, I don't know, what inspired you to make this specifically. And also, like I've used the RPG Maker software too, and it's pretty fascinating to like learn how to create a game. Obviously, the software is pretty simple, but when you see someone like come together and making a complete game like this, it's pretty cool.
Somebody's microphone is not muted and he's typing.
Probably.
I was gonna blame Steven, but I actually think it's Caitlin.
Ha! Don't blame me. No, because her computer's just about this close to exploding. Tyler, do you have any thoughts on this? And then we're going to move forward. I don't want to spend too much time on something.
Actually, I do. I'm usually not that excited about RPG Maker games, and we've kind of echoed that sentiment already. But I do like the kind of central mechanic of you're running this tavern sort of a thing. We've seen a couple similar themed games with, say, Recitar or Shopkeep, and you can argue that those games weren't great, but at the very least, you have to admit that they were interesting. At the same time, I do see that central mechanic maybe getting a bit boring after a while with this game. So I think, like Caitlin mentioned, I think the success of this game is going to hinge on the interesting characters that show up in your tavern and what problems you're going to have to solve with them. Because if it's just upkeeping the tavern, I think that'll get old after a while. But even then, I'm still interested.
I don't know, with how popular that the old Harvest Moon games were, because I have to invoke Nintendo at least 6 times an hour. And, of course, the Stardew Valley game, which is basically Harvest Moon. Apparently, there's kind of a big deal for that. So just because we all think it might be slightly boring, although it doesn't sound like anybody here has anything really negative to say. Even Fred, who needs it to be a game that can handle his tight...
Yeah, but I'm a little bit more every day. I'm starting to think about how to integrate my 4-year-old into the wonderful world of video gaming. And when I see this type of stuff, I think, yeah, this is probably how I start him off, you know? Like, when he hits 7, 8 years old, like, RPG Maker, go for it. Stardew Valley, like, have a blast.
Whenever I
didn't know Fred was a parent. Now I'm just scared.
Like, we're not starting on Doom 4.
No.
Well,
I was about to say when my kid gets about to age 4, it'll be, MS-DOS Doom. I'll be like, complete. I'll be back in about 3 hours. You better not be crying.
No one's
the
good
thing
to bed.
You have to put them on ultra violence if they don't.
Until you go through hell.
If they don't go through the first episode on ultra violence and they fail, you can disown them legally. I checked.
You know it.
So that being said, and they have to play on a printer. They cannot play on an actual PC.
But it makes sense, though, right? Like when Ray like speaks about this type of games and like how he's kind of endeared by it, just it reeks of nostalgia in many ways. And I don't think it's just nostalgia. I think it's a great RPG makers make for a great entry point for kids to video gaming, because it's not just shoot, and it's not just the really like aggressive, action-packed, fast-paced stuff that parents are going to run away from. It's actually you're immersing your kid in a very thoughtful process, one that kind of sparks imaginations. There's a reason why I read stories every night to my kid. It's because you kind of want to stipulate his imagination. You want to take him into a fantasy world that he can absorb, and you also want to stipulate his intellect. I feel like RPG makers do that really well.
Stop telling your kid about Donald Trump, Fred.
I'm so.
What you really should do, Fred, is
or even
when they get of age, get an Oculus Rift, get Silent Hill, and then just let them go to town, because that'll help all the way around. So we're gonna
my teacher sometimes at school he starts tweaking. Like, we don't know what's up.
They start screaming about holes. We don't know why. So we're gonna move on, and we're gonna get to the next one, which sounds like a boy band. It's called Innoquous 5. All right. So Kelly, if you could tell us about Innoquous 5.
Innoquous 5, the 5th in the game series that began in 2008's Innoquous, is a huge puzzle platformer with a twist. Hit a gravity arrow or jump into a flipper and you can rotate gravity, opening new paths through each of the huge collection of levels. Make your way through 175 levels. 100 brand spanking new to the game, 75 from Innoquous 4, riddled with alternate paths and shortcuts. And encountering tens of obstacles, unique puzzles, and a need to invent some bizarre strategies to finish them.
Tens of obstacles. That's a lot.
Well, I was also, why are they like huge collection of levels? Next line is, well, we have this many.
Did they mean to say tons?
That's likely. So for any devs that are out there, if you need us to write your game descriptions, we're actually available. I mean, we will proofread. Yeah.
We
Anyway,
have writers.
We have editors.
we do.
Somewhat.
We do.
Don't tell Paris that; he'll deny it.
So moving on, Tyler, tell us about Chequered Ink Ltd.
Yes, so Chequered Ink Ltd was founded on the 18th of June in 2015 in Bath, United Kingdom, by the two industry professionals Dan Johnston and Andrew McCluskey. Dan and Andrew have been making games for over a decade and met while working at Yo-Yo Games Ltd, the home of Game Maker Studio.
So Raylak, this is your fault. What do you think about this?
Pretty much.
Helps if I mute my mic.
What do you think about this since it's your fault?
Yeah, I don't do puzzle games either. This is...
Can we just take a second and laugh about the fact that it's actually taken the logo from 1984's Ink Soak?
And can we also get a fact check on mobile?
Yeah, because we know that we got to check that. But when we see the logo again in the trailer, please, if anybody can reference that looks like the 1984 logo. So Tyler, what are your thoughts on this puzzle game? Puzzle platform?
I want to say maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, gravity-based puzzle games were still entertaining and like new and fresh. I'm not saying that they can't be still, but having the screen twist around like every 2.5 seconds, just watching the trailer on loop is kind of starting to make me sick. I'm sure it's a fun game, at least in terms of getting your gravity puzzle game shtick off, but no, it's making me sick watching it.
Okay, Rayla, you had some more stuff. I know other people may have said it, but please continue. It sounded like you stopped.
No, it's pretty much the same thing. It feels like it's something I would play on like an iPhone, so I can just twist the phone around every time it wants to do that camera flip, and it doesn't seem like there's much gameplay there. I just sort of twist around and keep falling off things.
I sometimes wonder if the puzzle games get a little rote after a while, unless you get something like Steam Workshop involved, where other people are making their own levels. Yeah. I don't know if I really like puzzle games where there's not somebody making new levels all the time. Maybe I'm just ruined by, again, Nintendo, Mario Maker, or any of the other games that are out there where you can have people involved. It's one of the reasons why I like Shadowrun, because people can make their own maps and campaigns and all that stuff.
Well, that's what they're doing with this, it looks like.
Yeah.
On that point, there is a little clip, I think that might be what Tyler was about to say, which looks like a designed mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't going to say much more than that. They just have a design mode.
Yeah, but how far can it go is the thing. I mean, if you get the full-on tools, we can't really tell from the trailer. There's a design mode, but it might only give you so much. But if you get the same level building stuff from the devs, I'd like to talk to them, to be honest with you. Fred, what do you think?
I think there's a fan base for these games. I don't think they're on PC. Having said that, I kind of have to agree with Tyler that I'm also getting motion sickness just staring at that. And for me, like the good puzzle game, really focusing on PC here, are games like Stealth Inc. If you guys are familiar with the style, like I feel like that's a proper adaptation for PC gamers of what puzzle games with the whole trance thing. It's done well. I don't see that here. I'm not tempted at all personally. I also don't think we should cover it. For once, to be the devil's advocate, it's just, to me, that doesn't speak like this is a PC game. It speaks like it's mobile.
Oh, that's fair.
It's the fifth in a series, evidently, and I can't imagine that it's changed the formula all that much as compared to its past 4 incarnations.
Like on the train in my phone, awesome, I'd play that.
Yeah, and that is one of the things is we don't get a lot of, well, I mean, we get a lot of good PC games, but when it looks like it's a port, we do have to just kind of take a step back because PC does not get very good ports in most cases. And especially when it looks like a mobile game, like I said, we did talk about Star Force earlier, which was a really good, really well done PC port. So was Oceanhorn, which we also reviewed on OPNoobs.com, which I wrote that review, and I'm still getting death threats from it. But it's one of those things. But we're gonna move on to the next one. It's called Trawl. not troll. Trawl. That's what it is.
Trawl.
Billy.
Sounds like
Trawl.
most of us.
Trawl is
That's
a
what we do.
first-person experimental game of discovery and creativity. First, you must figure out how to operate the various parts of the boat, manipulating the wheel, throttle, and net. Then trawl the sea to recover, discover what secrets are hidden in the depths, and record your findings on your typewriter. Trawl the sea to recover, discover. Yep.
I do want to... Yeah, that's how it's written. Okay, so Tyler, tell us about the life story of the studio.
Well, let's see. It looks like it is a two-person indie studio composed of Daniel Gallagher and Nathan Gallardo. Looks like they do most of their programming inside an ice cream truck. One of the facts I just said is actually fake, but they had a very short description for their studio background, so I thought I'd spice it up a little bit.
Oh, that was a good 30 seconds of the good. Yeah.
I was actually hoping that they would do such a thing. So, Fred, way back when I first, was still optimistic about everything that we do.
I don't remember that. I don't even remember that. But yeah, go ahead.
I was actually part of a two-person team that reviewed a game called MoonStone. If you remember that. Way back when.
Yeah, but that's different, right?
Yeah, I still had more.
Like MoonStone, I hate to say, MoonStone had a lot of character. And he was also from the guys. He was who's the developer now? Something Fish. And that was kind of a horror game, right? This is like
yes.
Yeah, so I don't know what's up with indie devs and ships. We see a lot of kind of first projects type of thing on a ship. And
MoonStone was made by Team Junkfish.
Yeah, Team.
Yes.
Yeah. See, Team Jump. Yeah.
I don't remember.
I guess the moment I see, I'm kind of like ships for me are the equivalent of space for you, Steven. Like the moment I see an indie game on a ship, I go like, not again. Just what pushes devs to work on a ship? I don't know. It beats the crap out of me. It seems like played out. You gotta have something that grabs me right off the bat. And I feel like MoonStone, to be fair, to answer your question, I feel like MoonStone did that well. Like you saw the trailer, it's on a ship, but there's something about it. Graphically, you're definitely gonna get spooked out. Beyond the very awesome font of Trawl, I think like the most impressive part of the trailer, is the font. I'm not. But it's a great font. I actually want to pick that font for some of our stuff on the site.
So should we?
And I'm not seeing much from the trailer either, to be fair. So you're an indie dev. You're gonna have to give us more right off the bat.
So Raylac, what are your thoughts about the ship thing? Is it just that people like the Lonely Island, or what is it that? Why do we keep seeing games on ships? Raylac.
Helps if I unmute my damn mic. Right. One of the most annoying things people complain about in games are invisible walls. A ship gives you a lot of easy walls with very little story writing. You don't have to find a reason why you can't go in that room or down that corridor or just leave the building. You don't need to hide a horde of zombies outside to eat you and say, right, now you will stay in the mansion. You can just stick them on the ship and go, you're in the middle of the ocean. Do you really want to jump overboard?
Actually, yes. I like the game.
Is that an option in the game?
Do that. I don't know. We can't.
If I played this, I might try.
We can't tell from the trailer. So, Caitlin, what are your thoughts?
This infuriates me.
Ooh.
I love it when she gets all worked up.
Okay. It has nothing to do with
Caitlin, right?
What's that?
The ship is fine. The genre is fine. Even the description sounds great. But what I have a problem with is this crappy trailer. What the
I'm glad she read my email.
This is a collection of screenshots, and I'm sorry, you cannot give me a collection of screenshots and call it a trailer. The game might be great, okay? The game could be awesome, but this is not a trailer.
Man, it's scary.
God, I hate the fact that she did not read today's email that says do not call a game crap on the air, but she has a point. She has a point.
Call the game crap, Fred, and I did read the email, and I used a much less profane word than what I was gonna use.
Okay.
Okay, so Fred,
we love
Fred. what we're basically seeing here isn't a trailer. This is a screensaver, and I've
Yeah.
seen screensavers. I have a Dishonored screensaver on my computer right now, not running, mind you, but it has more animation than what we're watching right now.
Then to be extra fair, let's call a fact check. Is this the launch trailer? Did we put on the right trailer on the stream? Like, and I feel like that's fair because I completely agree with you, Caitlin, on so many levels. But did we put on the right trailer? Is this actually the finished product that's being delivered on Steam?
I certainly hope not. But hey, just because a trailer is bad doesn't necessarily mean that the game itself is bad. Again, we're not trashing the game, we're trashing the ad department. We're trashing the trailer because honestly, before we spend money on games, on indie games, which can often be a crapshoot, we need to have a good solid trailer. And this is one of those situations where this could be the best game in the world. But if we have a bad trailer, I'm sorry, but that's the nature of this show. We go through it, and that's what we're driven by.
And Lightmassa just confirmed that, yes, this is a trailer on Steam. Thanks, Lightmassa.
I hate to say it, but this is one of those situations we're going to have to just move on because there's not enough to look at.
It's a problem. Yeah. We're putting this down.
We're going to get to the next one, and then we're going to do a giveaway. But you got to suffer through one more trailer before we do that. So, the next game is Battle Souls. Kelly.
Battle Souls. Join the battle for the legendary soul crystals in this fast-paced PvP action game where class change is king. Battle Souls. Freely switch between a loadout of 3 heroes while you are alive, each with his or her own unique abilities, and battle it out in action-packed melee and ranged combat.
Okay. And the huge description of the developer, Tyler.
Pixeleap, an indie dev located in Denmark. I don't have any clever things to add on to this one. I'm sorry.
I'm so glad we're not paying you. So.
Oh my god, I love this.
So what do we think about
I'm with you, Robert. I'm with you.
Caitlin, you like really shiny, happy, bright-colored things. What are your opinions on what we're seeing here, especially after your angry screed that we've had about paladins in the last couple of weeks?
I was in the middle of typing, oh, this one looks so cute.
Before I...
How did I know? And people say I don't pay attention, or that I drink, or one or the other. Raylak, what are your thoughts on this happy, shiny thing?
It seems like the sort of game you could just... You've come home from work, you put it on, and you just go and try and kill people. It's nice and easy. It looks from the other trailer I'm seeing, like there's 4 or 5 characters. And yeah, you just go out and it doesn't really matter. Just throw away an hour. It kind of looks a bit fun, actually. I almost want to play it.
Kind of disagree. If I can pick up on this, Steven, kind of disagree with you, Ray. Like, we see a lot of... I hate to call it. I feel like this type of games are kind of the indie version of Team Fortress, Overwatch, Battlefront, whatever. Like it's the indie approach to multiplayer PvP style.
Well, the AAA of Battlefront didn't do so well, so I'm all for it. I'm all for the version of Battlefront.
But having said this, we just covered one of those games, I think, a month ago. I forgot the name evades me now. But this one looks. There's something about this one. There's something original. There's something like. I feel like the developers approach it and say, how can we approach tactical PvP combat, fast-paced stuff with a different angle, like literally a different angle and kind of an angle that is going to accelerate the pace of gameplay. Now, we may be looking at a game that's for a younger audience because I'm getting dizzy just looking at this. I don't think the 33-year-old in me can actually cope with this. But then again, that's how I feel playing Overwatch, kind of to be entirely frank. And I feel like this is dope, man. This is dope. At least from a trailer, I want to play the game, which is exactly what a trailer should do. Swap classes on the fly. If that's not a wink at Overwatch, I don't know what is. And that's probably the best mechanic I've seen so far in Overwatch is the swap classes on the fly. Great artwork. I'm all for that. I want to interview the devs. I want us to review this. Hats off. Fucking well done. Pardon my French.
That's fair. I'm just glad that in 2016 we have somebody that actually said dope non-ironically.
Yeah, right?
It's the Californian in me, son. That's
keep
the
it
East
over
Coast in me.
there. Yeah. That being said, I need to drink on that one. But truthfully, it's free to play, so really the entry fee is pretty low. I feel
Yeah.
like this is something that I would totally jump on anyway. And Caitlin, do you think this would wash the bad taste of Paladins out of your mouth?
Overwatch might do that, but this is clearly like very third person. It reminds me of completely different games. But I would play it. This is like exactly what I would play in my free time. So yeah, it looks fun. Looks cute.
I think this is something we definitely need to look into getting an interview set up. So I think if this is one of their first games, honestly, this is something that we really should look into. And Fred, what do you think about this possibly being an E4I game in the future? Since I'll put you on the spot.
So here's the thing about E4I and if you don't know what E4I is, it's esports for indie. It's us hosting the official tournament for the devs, working with the communities. We just had one. We have the next one. We're still not going public with it, but we'll go public next Tuesday. It depends. It depends on how robust of a community it gets, not just on launch, but within the next 6 months. If a solid community arises, if there's a leadership that kind of takes over that community and can run the show working with us and the devs, then hell yeah, man, I'm all for it. Like, I have nothing against it. I'd sponsor that.
Cool. So you're too old for it, but you'd be totally into
it. Oh yeah. Well, I'm too old for the Red Solstice, man. Like I'm too old for most of these games. The best I can do right now is Undertale.
Wow.
JK.
The 2015 RPG of the year rated by OPNoobs. It beat out The Witcher, guys. I still feel sick when I say that phrase. So that being said, we are going to get to our first giveaway of the evening. We can't really tell you
my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
That's right. You're still here, Taylor. No, we don't.
Yeah. You can't say me twice.
I like the Tyler. I love the Tyler.
I almost called him Taylor.
Firstly,
I'm sorry, Tyler. What do you think?
Really quickly, I'll cover my thoughts on Trawl, which we already finished talking about. I just wanted to say, I think that there are a lot of games about boats because they ship a lot of copies.
Oh, shut up.
Anyways,
this is
now
why
on this
we're
game,
back to the basement. Go.
So for this game we're talking about now, I already forgot the name of it. Everyone's already covered. It looks fun. It looks cute. I think Rek kind of nailed it when he said it looks like they're channeling Team Fortress 2, but not quite as mechanically put together. So I think that if it is mechanically put together and it works really well, that instantly changing the classes thing, I can see it being a longevity fun game. At the very least, though, if it's completely like broken and stupid, I think it would be really fun to hop on with some friends for at least a couple hours. So no matter if this game's poorly designed or really well designed, I'm already looking forward to it. And I think it is by far the best trailer we've seen today as well.
Yep, yeah, I would agree with that also.
Can I ask you a question, Tyler? How do you feel like from a marketing standpoint? How do you feel about, like, if you were the actual indie dev, would you release this at the same time as Battlefront and Overwatch, or would you hold out? Because the fact that it's free to and take the fact that it's free to play into account.
The fact that it's free to play is probably a good thing. I'm going to like get tomatoes thrown at me here. I'm actually very unfamiliar with Battle, whatever you said, and also the Overwatch. The only thing I know about Overwatch is that apparently the internet freaked out about somebody named Tracer's butt. That is all I know about that game, so I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to say.
That's honestly all you need to know, honestly.
Maybe Steven, you want to answer that one? Because I don't know if I would have launched Battle Souls May 12 when everybody's playing Overwatch or Battlefront.
Yeah. Battle Souls, I think, is kind of banking on the idea of positioning themselves as the new indie version of that game. As Caitlin has so eloquently for 2 weeks, like a terrier with a piece of meat, told us she's not very happy with the way that Paladins, a game that we actually gave a glowing review in the last couple of shows a while back, the way that they have handled the game has basically just been piss poor to their community. I actually feel like Battle Souls might be the thing that is the indie version of those couple of AAA titles. But it only remains to be seen. Again, we don't see much other than what this trailer is giving us. But this is the absolute opposite of the trailer we just saw. Where the trailer we just saw was not so great, this gives me everything at a glance. So from a business standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, this thing is doing its job and in spades. So I am totally on board with this. I don't even like people. I would play with other people. That's how good this trailer is. So that being said,
this trailer is really good. I do have one kind of thing to say about the Trawl trailer, though. It is 30 seconds long, and I like short trailers, so I can give it that. But I feel like that, like if that was their trailer, what was their marketing pitch? Did they go to like their board and say, "All right, so on the game, there's a boat.
We'll sell it to you,"
and then that's it. But yeah, sorry.
And then all the venture capitalists roll in and give money because this is amazing. I have a boat too. But anyway, that being said,
I can't even really add anything to all the praise that for this game. I just want to bring up something I put in the chat though, is that anyone that played Westwood's Nox should like see this game and just be like, "Wow, again!" And I love that game.
Genuflect and cross myself whenever I hear Westwood.
Oh man, yeah, that's right. But Nox was just such a fun PvP game, and I played that for hours. And this looks like a lot of elements, even if they didn't even know the game existed. It takes a lot of elements from that game, and that gets me excited.
I'm totally looking forward to it. I think it's the game out of this entire list that I'm not only going to say, yes, we need to review it, but yes, we also need to do an interview. And maybe if the community is big enough, we might want to look into E4I. But that being said, we're going to give some free stuff away now. So Caitlin, if you could, in your brain, in case you guys are new and you've never seen this, what happens is Caitlin, with the Dayglow lips, considers a number between 1 and 100, and then you guys in the chat need to start posting random numbers once, only once. You can't keep posting random numbers. And whoever gets closest to it, we announce after the next trailer who wins the key. Okay? Okay. So, start posting numbers, and we're going to get on to the next one. The next one is Rocket Fist, which scares me and intrigues me all at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of the name.
We're going to find out.
It's about an 18 warning up before the next game.
Rocket Fist,
Robert,
otherwise known as What's Under the Blanket 2. No, I'm kidding. Okay. All right. Rocket Fist is a multiplayer arena game with armless robots and chaotic battles with rocket fists. Prove your dexterity and aim against your friend enemies, killing each other with rocket-propelled fists in this frenetic mix of dodgeball and billiards.
Wait, so do you have arms, or is it just fists?
You don't have arms, looks like fists, and apparently there's something called a frenemy.
Oh, this is a fuck yeah again. Pardon my French again, but yeah.
You're French!
Yeah. Told us not to say crappy.
Oh, wow. So, tell us, Tyler, about this huge description that we've not got.
Well, let's see. Rocket Fist is made by a two-person indie studio, the individuals of which are Daniel Sind and Thiago Adamo. I'm probably mispronouncing literally everything.
That's fair. I'm glad that we can accept our failures. So, yeah, I'm feeling like this is, speaking of bullet hells, I have to keep throwing it back to Assault Android Cactus. I'm feeling some similar things here, but I could be totally wrong. Caitlin, you had your hand up. What is this thing?
This reminds me of, I'm not even sure what to call them, but do you know pinball and air hockey, like where you hit the puck back and forth?
Yeah, air hockey.
I'm familiar with this game that you speak of.
Yeah, this looks like a computer 1v1 version of that. It looks really fun. Like,
I mean, Pong?
Air hockey?
Sure.
Are you talking about air hockey?
Fancy Pong.
Yeah, air hockey. Like,
Yeah.
this looks like it to me. I like it.
Fred, what am I watching here? I mean, is this?
I think
really
that, well, I think you're watching a perfectly executed indie game. To say the least, graphically, this is exactly what I expect out of an indie game. The effort put in, visually appealing, action-paced, and everything feels very rhythmical. Like you feel the rhythm in a trailer, and I can't even hear the sound of the game. Everything has been done the way, like even the font. Actually, again, the font. Damn,
You just
man!
love fonts, man.
I don't know. This game speaks to me as. Definitely want an interview. Definitely want to cover this. I'm hoping for a great score. Rocket Fist, man. Even the name, like, this is professional. Hats off. Yeah, I'm all for it.
I was hoping to a sequel for Rocket Bowl, but hey, whatever works. Kelly, your thoughts?
I also want to give this game some praise. It looks incredibly fun. I want to know like what the different game options are. I want to know like I don't know what the powers are. I want to know all this stuff. This looks like a combination of like Super Monkey Ball, like Rocket Riot, and Bomberman. I just love everything about it.
Well,
everything about it. It just looks so fun.
I do want to say, just as an aside, I'm
And
very
you can make your
impressed
own
with
levels. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love the fact that more devs are putting out the ability. That's exactly what I was going to say. I love the fact that devs are putting out more and more level editors and tools and whatnot. That way, it's kind of putting the gamer's money where its mouth is. If you don't like the levels, make your own.
And Steven, to plug in E4I, if this builds a community and it's got a good PvP mode, I would love to host like a very quick tournament, like an afternoon tournament between the slickest and the sleeker in PvP. Just that would be a blast.
Yeah, and I also want to commend us on our professionalism and our adult ability to not make a joke about Rocket Fist.
We did that. We did before the trailer.
We did in our
No.
Skype thing.
No.
Under the
I'm
blanket.
going to ignore that. Raylak, what do you think about Rocket Fist?
I don't know why, but something about it annoys me. I'm just watching the trailer and I don't want to play it.
You have to.
It feels
stop.
irritating.
Can't just
for some
drop
reason.
that.
It feels irritating. Okay. Is it the cartoony feel to it? Is it the cell shading, which is something we don't see a lot in games?
No, that was early 2000s. It was major cell shading stuff.
Is it because this is something you would see
of the game?
Yeah, it's because you would see this on an iPad walking into an Apple store. I don't know what you would do that to yourself, but that's kind of the feeling.
I mean, I like the graphics on it. It's a really well done game, but there's something that I just don't like about it. It's probably just it's not my style of game, but I don't think I would play this personally.
Okay.
But I'm sure there is a market for it. It does look like a good game, just not one for me.
That's fair. Any final thoughts before we figure out what game we're going to give away and who's going to get it?
Yeah, it's already been said, but the aesthetics, 10 out of 10, they developed out graphics, so they rolled with
Robot Voice 0 of 10.
Remix.
And I think we're about to lose Tyler in a second.
Just go ahead, go on, do the giveaway.
Oh wait, no, you're back. You're back. Tyler.
I think you're back.
Okay, cool.
You were daft
Yeah,
punking for a half second, so let's.
I cheated. I have to admit, I cheated, and I watched some of these trailers before the show started. And the first time I saw this trailer, I just had the stupidest smile on my face the entire time. I think it's really cute, but I am a little disappointed. My biggest disappointment is the game is called Rocket Fist, and for like the first 10 seconds, I thought it was going to be a boxing expansion for Rocket League.
Oh
yeah,
I was pretty excited for it.
Hoops just got added. That was
this
a few hours wasted.
fun.
That's
too.
well, you know,
Boxing.
you're not completely. A lot of time you see games that carry a name that are kind of a marketing trick, so that it's almost like SEO, like search engine optimization.
Yeah.
You go on Steam, you get lazy. Instead of typing Rocket, instead of typing Rocket League, you type Rocket, and boom, Rocket Fist shows up right next to Rocket League. So it's. I don't think it's something to bash at necessarily. We all do it. Anybody who's developing anything online.
Also, you can only be so original. That's just kind of the truth of it. You're not going to have a game like this that's going to have 8 words in its title. Something like Rocket Fist just makes a little bit more sense. It describes the game pretty easily, and and like I said, kind of a key word in it that will help them with selling their game. I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with how many of these teams are two-people teams tonight. And we're getting some pretty high-quality stuff. Raylak, what was your thought?
It's a game where you fire fists with rockets. Yep. The title can only really be one thing. I mean, if you can think of a better one, go for it in chat.
Robot fist.
No.
I'm pretty sure that's probably copyrighted for something else.
I'm pretty sure Vivid Entertainment owns that one, but we're not going to go into that. So that being said, we're going to talk about who just won the game. So, Caitlin, if you could be so kind as to throw in the numbers. Since you people in the chat were lazy and didn't put in numbers, you didn't get the game. So, who got the game? It
looks like Omega Blade X, he put in a 17, and the number is 31, so he was closest.
Yay!
Yeah.
You get it.
Congrats, Dan.
Congrats.
Wait, what does he get?
Well, that's the guy. That's the guy who just reviewed Dark Souls 3 on OPNoobs.com. Shameless plugin. Check out OPNoobs.com. Check out the fantastic review of Dark Souls 3. And a second shameless plugin. I am loving it. I am as satisfied with Dark Souls 3 as I was disappointed with Dark Souls 2.
I gotta get into that series soon.
Yes, you do.
I really thought he was going to start plugging McDonald's when he said I'm loving it. So, it is what it is.
Well, we have brought up Trump, McDonald's, Fred's heritage several times tonight.
Well, we haven't made the Italian jokes yet, have we?
No.
Not yet, no. We can make some
Yeah,
Mussolini jokes. We just hang him from a
Wasn't
pole
somebody
and start
pasta
beating
to
him.
start with?
What's that?
I thought one of us was eating pasta at the start, Tyler.
Oh, that's right. Well, I always just when Fred talks, I hear the Swedish Chef in my head.
Wow.
Everyone loves the Swedish Chef, Fred. It's a compliment. It's an American thing.
All right.
Who is the Swedish Chef?
I was about to say reason for
Who
concern.
is the Swedish Chef?
Can
The
we
Muppets?
move on? Because as great as this game looks, I feel like when we give the game away, can we move on to the next trailer?
I guess we should.
Let's do
We've
it.
actually only got 4 left, and only one of them really, really matters, but that's just my opinion. So we're going to get to the next one, Dungeon Rushers, which also sounds like it's paired up with Rocket Fist. Kelly, if you could.
Dungeon Rushers is a 2D tactical RPG combining dungeon crawlers gameplay and turn-based fights. Manage your team, loot dusty dungeons, crush armies of monster, and craft mighty equipment. Be part of an epic adventure with a colorful cast of characters and an offbeat universe. Build your own dungeon and challenge with other players.
Another game that has a level builder. I like it. I feel like Fred's going to like this one. Tyler, tell us about this big studio.
Well, Dungeon Rushers is a game made by Goblinz Studio, which is an indie development studio based out of France. I'll give you 3 guesses as to how many people are in this indie studio.
2.
It's
You
France.
got it. You got it. He won. He did it. First
Yes,
guess,
8 in
too.
French,
Yeah, there's
Fred.
2 people.
So
You win.
that means Fred is going to probably steal this interview, and they'll just talk in French the whole time. Fred, what are your thoughts on this?
Couple of thoughts actually. I feel like we should. The French industry of video game development is so interesting. I would love to start developing the capacity on Twitch to do the interview in French with me and have subtitles going. I think that would be pimp.
I'll be there and just nod.
Okay, yeah. So a couple problems. You think I would love this game? I was right there with you, Steven, from the get-go, just because I'm a sucker for good artwork. And as far as I was complimenting Desiree, if you remember last week. And by the way, I think we're working on an interview on that, so I think that's actually happening. I want to say I'm very skeptical on that one. First of all, they probably hired some PR studio for the US audience, because I hate when they get condescending. I hate when they get condescending on the description of the game. Hey man, you're gonna get to do this and that. Yeah, okay, great. Can you talk to me like I'm an adult? Please.
Oh,
like,
he's gonna get to ranting. We're gonna cut him off right here.
Which is no, but it's a note for studios. Like if you're going to, and it's fine, you know, if you're gonna hire some consulting firm in the United States to kind of sell this to your audience, like stick true to your message. You know, stick true to the very reason why you made these games. There's from the get go, you see there's a passionate crew, even if it's a 2-man team behind this game. Like you just like that opening screen is absolutely gorgeous. The map gets me all excited. Lots of potential, and I would definitely say let's review it. Then actually, when it comes to gameplay, I want to say, oh man, this looks like for my iPad. This looks like a game that's.
It is. That's the thing. And at the end of the trailer, it is legitimately a mobile game.
Yep.
And it's going to be on Steam as well. So honestly, I hate to sound like a jerk, but there is a way to port a mobile game to PC, or a way to have a mobile game end on PC platform, but I don't feel like this is actually hitting it right. Oceanhorn, as much as I ragged on it for literally wholesale stealing the Zelda franchise from Nintendo and putting it on Steam, unabashedly, they had a mobile game and they still managed to make it look good. Here, I feel like this is pure mobile. And I hate to sound like an elitist, but damn, I'm sick of seeing that.
And that doesn't take away from the fact that there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent in that 2-man team. There's no denying it. No denying it. But does it really say on the screen lots of monsters? Like I generally go for lots of monsters. Oh, man. You can't do that, man. You can't do that. Like you work for a couple years on a game. You give it all you've got. Refine, you know, refine the trailer, man. Make sure that you stick to. You gotta convey that passion, like, and that is a miserable fail on that. And yeah, I'm not convinced at all.
That's fair. Kelly.
I was really into this game until I saw the gameplay. It is very mobile centric. That doesn't make it a bad game. I personally really loved Knights of Pen and Paper on mobile, and I bought it when it came to Steam and played it again. It was fun. I really like tactical turn-based RPGs. I love XCOM. I love the Final Fantasy Tactics. I love the Fire Emblem games. Had Nintendo, and then but then I see this and I'm going through, you're seeing all the characters options. It's really building me up to just be let down with this trailer. Because the dungeon crawling looks so boring. I wouldn't want to do this for more than 10 minutes maybe. Before I'd just be like, wow, I'd rather play a game that has more development in its actual gameplay and battle style. Because this just isn't covering it. Unfortunately, sprites can look nice. They don't make the game nice.
That's totally fair. Again, it's one of those things where we see a lot of really poor trailers but really nice looking games. Here, I feel like, I don't want to sound harsh, but I actually do. I feel like it was kind of a bait and switch. I feel like the trailer was really well put together, and then we saw the gameplay, and then suddenly everything sunk for me. But again, it's one of those things where different strokes, different folks. I just don't think I'm any of those folk. So we're going to move on to the next one. 3 more to go, guys. 3 more to go. And we have 1 more game to give away. So, Song of 7, Chapter 1. Kelly.
All right. Song of 7, Chapter 1. Explore how everyday fears keep us from our full potential in a profound but family-friendly, humorous way. Aspiring musician Kiba and impulsive inventor Emma wander a beautifully rendered world, solve challenges, and meet unusual people. They discover how fears manifest and how to conquer them.
Tyler, do we have an actual team in this one?
Yes, we do, which makes me excited. Song of 7 is made by Enlightened Games, which is a 7-person indie dev studio.
Okay. Nothing but the
I misread
best.
the title. It's. Go ahead.
Just please tell me that was on purpose.
I hope so. I don't want to know what a Song of Stephen is like either.
Okay, watch the
Song
trailer.
of
When the
Stephen-
title comes in, when it fades in at the end of the trailer, it looks like it says "Song of Seamen."
All right, here we go.
Song of Stephen.
Wait
I
for the
really hope
title
the
to appear.
developers of this game are not watching.
So, that being said, is it about sailors, you think?
I hope so.
Yeah. Caitlin,
Okay.
please save us on this one. What are your thoughts from what we're seeing?
Well, the stream has frozen for me, so I can't actually look at it right now. I'm
It's
working
seeming.
on it. What?
It's semen.
Like actual seamen?
No, it's not semen.
No.
The one from the Sega Genesis game.
It's under your blanket.
It's with
You
Robot
guys are
Fist.
so bad.
It's with Rocket Fist, actually.
Oh wait,
go ahead,
we're
Caitlin.
back.
Yeah.
We're back. I see
Alright,
it.
alright,
It looks
alright.
very 3D. Oh my gosh, this looks awesome. Look at that grass. There's grass. Look, there's leaves. They flutter in the wind. Oh, can I play this?
Yes.
I
That's
can't
my
tell if
exciting
you're being
thing.
sarcastic or not.
No,
Well,
I'm
I
not.
just
It looks
genuine.
awesome.
I don't know. This kind of looks wit misty to me.
Okay. Okay. Fred,
Yeah,
your
so
thoughts?
I feel like this is part of the enigma for me. This is part of the gaming enigma that I still don't comprehend. Like and that's the King's Quest enigma. It's and it's not.
You be
honestly,
careful
it's-
what you say about King's
Yeah,
Quest. I'm
Hold
just
on,
saying.
hold on. It's not graphically, visually. It's not. It doesn't even get halfway to King's Quest standards. But it's still very much down that. It's going down that path. And the enigma to me, because I don't understand why these games are becoming kind of a dying breed. I don't think. And I'd love to get the devs on that. They would never comment on it because no devs like to accept what I guess I would call a semi-failure.
I don't think that's true. We've had devs that say that their genres
I guess like
are
I'm,
actually a dying breed.
what I'm saying is like games that are very very poetic, and yet the game mechanics are failing to catch a very wide audience. Despite the fact that there's a lot of poetry into the game, and there is like I feel like in the 90s these games were so popular, like they were the kind of like the stuff that kids wanted to play, that were very successful, and they've evolved well graphically. They've evolved so well graphically, the colorful, really, and yet we're not following. Like the audience is not grabbing. And I feel like that's one of those games that's gonna fall. And I could be completely wrong, but I feel like that's one of those games that, when you look at it, without looking at any type of precedent or competing titles, you're gonna think this has a lot of potential. But then when it actually releases, there was a game, not even like even much that I know King's Quest came out with its latest chapter just I think a couple weeks ago, if even that.
Yes.
Another game came out. I forget the name. It also came out on consoles. Looked beautiful, man. Looked like absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, never got past the 6.5, 7 on the ranking, on the rating scale. I don't know why people are not tagging. I feel like they feel outdated. The game mechanics, I feel like, is what it is. It's the game mechanics. We need more than just selecting a knife and cutting a bush nowadays. We just need more. And by we, I don't mean the adult audience that we've become. I feel like even kids need more.
My only complaint about this whole thing is I'm kind of tired of the episodic nature of games that are coming out. I'm tired of Hitman being episodic. I'm tired of Final Fantasy VII is going to be episodic. I just feel like, and we had an episodic game last couple of shows. I think we've had one for the last couple of shows. I just feel like it feels like a bit of to be cynical, it feels like a cash grab. I have to be invested in the story past chapter 1. If you can't grab me in chapter 1, I'm not going to buy chapters 2 through however many there are going to be. If you can't tell a compelling story in the first chapter, if you can't get people's attention, you're really banking that you're a better storyteller than your trailers are giving. And I just look forward to when we don't have episodic games anymore.
And don't you feel like in many ways kids have evolved, that like the whole naivete of a childish story isn't enough even for kids nowadays? Like because this really like is a fairy tale, but it's so simplistic and it's reaching out to the 13, 14-year-old in us. If you're not even that, the 10-year-old in us. Whether you're actually 10 years old or 34, that can work, like Zelda. I hate to quote Nintendo, but like Zelda works.
Yes, we have had like 3
But wait a
Nintendo
second.
quotes tonight.
We have, and that's the thing. But at least with Zelda, each game was its own story. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end. It just had that little bit of a cliffhanger, which isn't even a cliffhanger, because anybody that knows the Zelda series knows it's going to continue.
But even mechanically, when I play Zelda, I feel like I'm a happy 10-year-old inside of me, and that's freaking awesome. I feel like those games are too limited. The King Quest fever is too limited in gameplay.
Well, that being said, Raylak, you're saying a lot in the chat. Of course, it's not Twitch. I don't know why. But what is your opinion about this whole thing? Because he can't type in Twitch chat for some reason. So Raylak, you crazy UK person, say what you were saying in the chat that no one was paying attention to.
I mean, episodic games work for story-style games, which, from what I'm seeing on this game, it's all about the story. It's not about gameplay. It's got graphics, but it's not marketing itself on having amazing graphics. Okay. Which means it's not one of the ideal ones for us to review, because we can't see what the actual story is so far, which is a shame, because this might actually have some really amazing story writing in it.
Yeah, but I would really like to watch someone play this game, honestly. I don't know if I'd want to play it myself, but I honestly would like to watch someone play this game, I think.
You mean on a stream?
Yeah, like just to see what it is, because I am not, admittedly never really was into Portal. I was never really into like Witness got like a lot of praise. I watched a lot of it, especially on Twitch, and was like, I guess it's just not really my thing. This is just another type of those games to me, like that kind of puzzle game where I think I would just prefer to like watch it and kind of get a more broad understanding on the game before stepping into it myself.
I'm just kind of worried about the idea of if we were to cover this on the show, on the site itself, I worry about these kinds of things, because that means then no matter what, we then have to hope that the others are going to keep up with the story. Like, for example, Fred, you can fix my pronunciation if you want, but Republique, we highlighted on a past show. Go ahead, do it. Thank you. And that was the 5th entry in a series that we'd never heard about until that point. And so the problem is, with the story-based games, you've got to hope that the game is actually going to be worthwhile to cover. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It might be fun to watch, but is it fun to actually read a review of? Can you review a story in pieces? I don't know if we can really do that and still have respect for the source material.
To me, what these types of game lack, and I might be raising a few eyebrows by saying that, it's action. I feel like these games need action, and I'm not talking like, oh, you need to have a monster every corner, but at some point you've got to swing a sword. And I mean that for kids too.
That's fair. So Raylak just said no. So Raylak, if you could please interject and tell Fred why the French are wrong again.
Right. I mean, there is a market for your action games. People like me, I love going out and killing stuff. If I'm not killing something in a game, it's probably not my style of game. But this is the style of game. It's about telling a story, and what's going on between the characters, that's more important than actually swinging a sword. Not everything has to be resolved with violence, Fred. I'm not saying swinging. No, I see where you're coming from, and I respect that. But at the same time, I'm not saying I want this game to be an action game. I just feel like it's missing that one moment where you get boom, done, and then you don't have to redo it. Like, you don't have to redo it you don't have to redo it for 20, 30 minutes, even an hour. But at some point, you need some action, and these games are utterly lacking it.
Well, I think. Go ahead, Raylak. Finish him off.
I saw a monster in it, and you had to do some sort of charades thing with it. So there's your action. There was a monster. You managed to blag your way past it somehow. Welcome to adventure style game.
Like actually, I only played the very first chapter of King's Quest, and I wish Adam Wheeler would have stayed on the call because he reviewed the very first episode of King's Quest, and he also came out as lukewarm on the whole thing. There's a great scene where you face a dragon, and by God, man, the dragon is it's freaking awesome. You know, my kid was staring at the game while I was playing it, and he was looking at it. I was just thinking, God, if you just incorporated a fight against the dragon, except instead of a puzzle-solving thing, and to me, that's what Zelda. I can't believe I'm the one advocating this tonight, but to me, that's what Zelda does perfectly. It's like Zelda goes through the adventure just like these games do, but at some point they say, all right. Stop with the storyline nonsense. Get to it. Find the weak spot of the monster and pound him. And that makes you want to go back to the very fairy tale like. But unless you have those dynamics, you're stuck in this never-ending kind of. It's too slow, man. It's too slow.
It's marketed as slow. And are you saying you want a dragon at the end of every game, and you're not then going to rip on every game for having a dragon?
I mean, it's a game. Otherwise, watch a cartoon. No, seriously. Otherwise, watch a cartoon.
It's an interactive cartoon. That's the market here.
Let's stop this before it becomes yet another UK-French war, even though we all know who's going to win. So the Nintendo counter is at...
I am out of here.
The Nintendo reference counter is up to 5 now, apparently. So I feel bad that second high poobah, Chris Kellogg, is not on this show tonight because he would make it like 30. Mm-hmm. So we got 2 more games, and 2 of them are actually pretty kind of sort of big, kind of small, but they're right up Fred's alley if he wants a lot of action. No more Rocket Fist jokes, especially not when talking about alleys, guys. So we're going to get into the last 2. We've got 1 more game to give away. Let's get right to it. It is Homefront, The Revolution.
Yes.
Not to be mistaken with Prince, but not that kind of game.
Homefront, The Revolution is an open-world first-person shooter where you must lead the resistance movement in guerrilla warfare against a superior military force. A living, breathing, open world responds to your actions. You and your resistance cell can inspire a rebellion on the streets and turn occupation into revolution as oppressed civilians take up the fight. But your enemy has the advantage: superior technology, firepower, heavy armor, and air support. You must learn the art of guerrilla warfare, ambush, sabotage, infiltration, deception, and fight a running battle through the war-ravaged suburbs of Philadelphia. And the single-player campaign is just the start. In co-op, you and your friends can form your own resistance cell and become renowned as heroes of the revolution. That's it.
Tyler?
I'm excited for this description. There's more than 3 words. So, Deep Silver is a German video game publisher based in Penang and is a wholly owned subsidiary of German multinational corporation Koch Media, or Coach. Anyways,
Coke.
Since its founding in 2002, Deep Silver has published and co-published several major titles.
You know, I hate to say it, but it's when you start to have a fight between the Brits and the French that the Germans come in.
Right? And the Polish just stand back and watch it all, basically.
Oh, man.
With our one donkey, a cannon, and a cart. Oh, God. Yes, so Deep Silver, if anybody is not putting 2 and 2 together to make 5, this is the long, maybe awaited sequel to Homefront, which was effectively the essentially, it is North Korea invades the U.S. So this is basically,
a dream come true for Germany.
It's gonna happen.
And this
now we
is
can
done
do what
by-
we want.
This is done by Deep Silver. These are the same guys that did Saints Row. Okay.
Quickly, just sorry to
It's
butt in,
also a
but
good thing.
sorry to butt in, but Stylo, the guy behind the tech, if you can, I don't know if it's possible. If it's not, no worries. But
Jump
if
in.
you can, if you can throw in some gameplay footage on that trailer, because I need to see some gameplay footage.
Yeah. So So that's the thing is it takes the problem with the trailer and the problem with many trailers, even the big guys do it obviously, is that they focus too much on the assumption that everybody played the first game, and to be fair,
or knows the genre somehow.
yeah. But the first, well, it's not even the first game. It's actually the second game in the series. This is actually the third game in the Homefront series, and it wasn't well received. In fact, it got a wonderful 3 or 4 in most ratings. So that being said, the real question is, did we really need a sequel for any of the 6 people that have played this game?
And Steven, please quote Light Massa.
I will gladly quote Light Massa. The devs showed this game live gameplay with people like Angry Joe and King of the Lion, and they said it was the most boring piece of crap they ever played. The
You
channel,
can't call it crap.
Yeah.
however,
You didn't get the email.
We are
However-
quoting.
we are quoting someone in the chat. But if I can be so bold, Fred, I have played many of the games in this series, and they all progressively suck harder than the previous one.
I think there's also a conversation to be had here on actually having real actors, basically real life footage, and then adding some Adobe effects to it and calling it a game. I personally have a problem with that. I think if oh my god, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. God, but after I've basically praised Zelda, Activision got us out of that. When Activision came out of the Kevin Spacey of Call of Duties, they showed us that a game could look realistic without actually having real life footage photoshopped. They did a beautiful job at that, and if you're gonna go for that style as a AAA studio, I expect you take the Activision path. For better or for worse, my argument can and probably should be criticized, but I feel like I'm being cheated when I see a trailer that says my game looks awesome. Well, yeah, dude, like you took real game footage and photoshopped it. That's not fair.
That's not the problem with this. The problem with this is, and I'm going to go political on this one. It's not
the only problem, but it's definitely a problem.
It is a big problem. And it's not even that. It's the trailer. Again, there's the conceit that you've already played previous games. There's the conceit that you actually like the series. And the third one, for one, the problem I have is that it's being released in an election year. That, to me, just sucks and speaks to what they're marketing it to. And thirdly, this is a far right Trump wet dream. This is effectively USA, woo! And this is North Korea, terrible. And they come in, they have been totally demonized. I don't care what side you're on. I don't know how you could support North Korea, but the idea is that you're basically fighting a stereotype with a stereotype, where you've got G.I. Joe on one end, and you've got the evil, murderous, rapist North Korea army invading the U.S. This is Red Dawn for 2016. That's all this game is. That's all the previous game was when it was released in 2007, I think. And it was bad then.
Here comes Stylo got us the game footage. Thanks,
Thank you, Stylo. And I'm sorry to say, but this is PS2 quality crap. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. If this is the gameplay
that's harsh,
footage,
Steven. You're being harsh.
Like the PS2 game of Homefront that I played, or Xbox 360 version of Homefront that I played looked as good as what we're seeing here. This is not a good-looking game. This looks like a game that, for all intents and purposes, was recycled. No, this is recycled.
Steven, like I say, I'm an opposite on this. I think it is a good-looking game. I think I look at that gameplay footage. Come on, it's a good-looking game.
The fact that it has God rays does not make me happy. It's basically shiny stuff thrown in there. Raylak, you have a comment.
Was I the only one who watched Red Dawn and voted for the Koreans to win?
I'm a fan of the 60s Red Dawn where they have Charlie Sheen as the main character.
Yeah, the good Red Dawn. Let's make sure we're clear on that one, not that weird remake.
Wait, there was more than one?
Yes. Yeah, there was the one made like 2 or 3 years ago because basically because everyone liked Hot Tub Time Machine, and in that movie they talk about Red Dawn a lot, that they were like,
I mean, I know for a fact that I'm now on at least 6 different watch lists by saying that on camera. But this is just poorly implemented. Like, America's army was less jingoistic. And that was a game made by the U.S. Army for a recruiting tool.
You have a problem with the game conceptually,
no,
right?
I have a problem with the game mechanics. I have never played a sloppier first-person shooter than Homefront. I have never played a sloppier game. It was basically Bulletstorm had better mechanics, and that was a sloppily phoned-in game. I have a problem with the concept. I have a problem with the mechanics. There's really nothing redeeming about the Homefront series to me, Fred. And that's just because the quality always felt like it was subpar, like it was the kind of shovelware that we rail on the Wii for having. That's 6, guys. Kelly.
This looks very Watchdog-esque to me. And
yeah, they added in the phone for hacking, right?
Yeah, not only was Ubisoft blamed, do they get blamed for countless things and mistakes they make, but I'm seeing this, and I know the first Homefront game, and it's terrible. It is not a very good game. The plot line's not very good. The game mechanics are kind of broken. Even after a couple years of fixes, it still wasn't that great of a game, unfortunately. And now they're bringing out a sequel with essentially the same graphics. I completely agree with you there, Steven. And I would say also to kind of nudge at Fred, too, that, yeah, the graphics actually do look pretty nice, I would admit. But it is a little recycled, and, I mean, it's
for
just,
sure.
It's recycled, and there's another problem, too, is I don't want this to sound like I am the most patriot, but how... like, this game better have, like, an explanation on why America just falls. Because
it fell in the previous game. Basically, it was, oh, hey, North Korea, we didn't expect them. They came in. Oh, crap, we have no defenses. We never would have expected it. That is legitimately the whole plot of Homefront. Like, that's it. It's take the plot of Red Dawn, instead of Russia, put in North Korea. That's your plot.
Yep, that is it. We're playing the Red Dawn game. That's a good point.
Yeah, and we had a Red Dawn game, and that was phoned in too. So
terrible.
we're gonna do a real quick scan of anybody else. Guy in the UK, what do you think of our weird thing in the US where we have this stuff?
Well, I see one thing. It's a technologically superior enemy has taken over your country, and now you're the insurgents. Welcome to ISIS Simulator 2016.
So we talked about you getting black bagged back in the chat, and I think that's probably going to happen, Raylak, if you just disappear. Tyler, your thoughts? I know Caitlin doesn't care about this kind of thing, so we're going to skip her.
Cool. So to everybody in chat, I do encourage you to look up this trailer on your own with the audio to it, because I know there's a lot of audio narration to it that gives a little bit more of an idea of the story. And to my understanding, it's America falls because North Korea or somebody sells America a lot of weapons that then they all decide to just turn off somehow. The game's going for like kind of right. The game's going for like a really like serious theme, and I'm okay with that for the most part. But it hinges on 2 very unrealistic things that destroys my willing suspension of disbelief. One, it assumes that America is getting all their weapons from somebody else because apparently our military-industrial complex isn't big enough. And so that's one unrealistic thing. And secondly, it portrays the North Korean military and government as very, very competent. Like North Korea is the box ghost of threatening nations. They're the Team Rocket of the world. My willing suspension of disbelief is destroyed.
But to be fair, I mean, like you can't blame a video game for being a complete fantasy.
That's
right. No, but it's true, right? Like it's to me that's okay.
Yeah. I'm just thinking the last major piece of media that had the North Korean government and military as like a major antagonist. The last significant piece of media to do that was Team America World Police.
As a
I
matter
think
of
that
fact,
kind of
Dude, you
says
have
something.
They started the game by blowing up the Eiffel Tower.
as a matter of
Great
yes.
movie.
The Eiffel
Great
Tower
movie.
deserved
Great
that.
fucking movie, man.
See, that's the fun part about it is only in video games could we have a competent French army. So that being said, we're gonna move on and we're gonna get to the last game. And Caitlin doesn't like Dude Bro Military Shooter 2016, and I totally respect that. But we like giving stuff away, so we're gonna do that right now. Caitlin, number 1 to 50. Let's make it slightly interesting. 1 to 50. You guys in the chat, 1 to 50. Guess a number. Whatever gets closest or gets right on it, you get a free game. It's not a crappy game. It's a good game. So guess a number. And we're going to get to the main reason why all of us exist here today.
Steven, can we
I'm going to talk
actually...
about OPNoobs, actually.
Yeah, but can we break the tradition? I feel like this is such...
Are
if
you
it
sure?
is- Yeah, if it is all that it's cracked up to be, and if it leads up to its legacy, I feel like as PC gamers, and I don't know how old you guys are, but for me, this is the one game that at the very core, before I even knew it, made me a PC gamer. I feel like we should have a moment of silence and watch the very first loop of the trailer with the sound.
Let's actually do that because if you guys don't know what this is, you need to either get older or you need to get out.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So let's do that. Moment of silence, if you please. Stylo, go.
Run it.
Run it.
Danger video games.
I think we're done.
Beautiful.
I think we're done.
Yeah.
So this, if I could rant for like 30 seconds to a minute, this
Do
is
it.
what I wanted back
I'm so
when
psyched.
When Doom 3 was released. This is the crap we should have gotten. I'm going to say this right now. If this is not the sequel to Doom that we've been waiting for at least 5 to 7 years, I have no more faith in id Software.
Yeah. Well said.
So that being said, who wants to ruin my hopes and dreams? Rylac, how you doing?
Faith is a lie.
Ah, yeah.
This game is one of the big AAA games where they have an amazing trailer, and how much of that trailer we're watching right now actually looks like in-game footage right there.
Amusingly enough, to answer your question, a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah,
I did
playing
get
beta, definitely.
I did not get a chance to play the beta because we were doing something Red Solstice, E for I, whatever the heck.
Doing
it was.
something
No,
better.
yeah, that's true. We were playing. We were doing our E for I tournament during the Doom beta, and I was so sad. But Robert Kelly actually got a chance to play. Kelly, how much of what we see in the trailer is legit game footage?
Like good 75%. There's a few scenes there that are obviously set up for the game trailer. But
Yeah.
I played the beta for a total of 12 hours over that weekend. When I was in and out of those interviews, I was still sitting right here blowing the crap out of demons. That sounds incorrect, but you know what I mean. And so
With your rocket fist.
there's with my rocket fist.
there's like a really big thing, and I actually, everyone, if they have a moment, I wrote an opinion editorial about the new Doom game coming out on our website at OPNoobs.com, and I really brought up the point of how Doom, like Fred said, this is a originator, especially V2. This game I remember watching when I was like 4 years old, because it came out when I believe I was 3 in like 1993. I remember watching my older brothers play this, and back then,
God,
it scared me, but in a different way.
Shaking.
It wasn't like watching any kind of horror movie, or in fairness, like when the Resident Evil games came out, those were very frightening. It wasn't frightening in a sense. It was frightening. Like I was like, oh my God, my brother's name is Bart. I was like, Bart, kill him. No, keep killing him. You have to live. You have to live. And that's kind of what made me realize why, going back to talking about Activision and Doom 3, why I think that Doom 3 is easily the worst Doom out of the entire series.
It's not. No. Hold on. Oh my
Yes,
God.
it is.
Blasphemy.
Yes,
Activision.
You gotta give me the. I really thought you would have the respect of giving me the opening, Steven, after slaving away News.com for 2 years. This is my puppy, man. This is my puppy. December. Just hear me out. December 24, 1993. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 11 years old. Nobody even knows what a video game is outside of Alex Kidd on Master System. And me and my cousin, who have 3 days of difference, we don't even know what we're doing here. Like, everybody's at the dinner table. I'm 11 years old. This is fucking 22 years ago, man. We both have the copies of Doom 1 on our lap. We both have our computers. Like, my cousin actually brought the computer from his house to plug
the little
it in.
floppy disk.
And he's on a Macintosh, and I'm on a goddamn PC. And my mother arrives, and she serves like this freaking disgusting meal that like, man, my cousin puked. Bottom line is, after my cousin puked, how can we be excused from the table and stuff? And we go and we put like, I forget what he was, even like it was a DVD-ROM into, like, we plug it in. And from that moment, I plugged in and I started playing Doom 1. And I was a PC gamer. I didn't even know it. This is the game for me that it essentially instilled the very passion that drives me here today, 22 years later, slaving away from Washington, D.C. All the politicians concerned are like, what the F is this guy doing? Like, why is he getting into video game? This is, for me, this is the game that gave me the passion. And I'm not exaggerating. I would not even come close to taking Doom 3 as part of the franchise. For me, it's Doom and it's Doom 2. Doom 3 is I wouldn't call it a mistake, because I was just telling Stylo on TeamSpeak yesterday, it gets A for effort, but Doom left us a long time ago, and for me it speaks home about everything an FPS should still be in many ways, to kind of like bring the conversation to 2016 and not stay stuck in the Christmas Eve of 1993. A lot of things went wrong with FPS solo mode. I'm not even talking about multiplayer. And Steven, I know you have a lot to say about that, and I think you're excited about the multiplayer campaign against the entire Steam community. But as far as solo campaign goes, I feel like the industry made a major mistake by kind of turning their back on some key dynamics of Doom. And I tend to be a conservative on many ways. But I feel like the FPS campaign was good the way Doom defined it. The fear of death. And the need, and if anything, Dark Souls does that well, right? Like Dark Souls, it's completely different genre.
The need to survive.
The need to survive.
Yep.
And
God,
and I
agree.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Just my beef with Doom 3, and it's the thing that I mentioned in my op-ed, is that I feel Activision took away the fear, or took away the survival aspect. It became, Doom 3 was more of a, I'm going to kind of try and scare you, and you're trying to like live so that you, the Marine, get off the space station. I like the original Doom, and I like Doom 2, and I'm really excited to see this because you're not fighting to like survive yourself. You're fighting because the gateway to hell opened, and you are the only person that can stop it. And the best part is, I've always liked the mentality of the Doom guy because he kind of has this mentality of like, no one's around. I'm going to rip off this guy's arm. And I always kind of like that like visceral, never-ending hordes, because what would come out of Gateway from Hell if anyone were to imagine? Endless waves of demons. What would happen if one dude was forced to stop him? You better fucking hope he has
He's
a
gonna
lot
die.
of guns.
And his pet bunny. Don't forget he had to rescue his pet bunny, which didn't make it, sadly. Sorry, guys, spoilers. But here's my problem with Doom 3 is that it went against everything that Doom and Doom 2 actually was. There is a quote that I often recite on this show, and it comes from John Romero, who basically said that story in a video game is much like story in a porn. You don't necessarily need it in order to have a good game. In fact, you don't even need a story in general. Doom was that game where, whether you like story-driven games or not, no matter what, Doom was enjoyable. If you wanted to just go through a giant room and be mobbed to death by all kinds of hellspawn, you could. It was just a situation where nobody had ever seen this thing before. This was the reason why we have first-person shooters today. This game is the reason we had that terrible thing that we just saw. And it's the reason that we have such good first-person shooters. The problem I had with Doom 3 is that it focused way too much on trying to do new things. And yes, gamers as a whole can be a pain in the butt because they're always saying they want new things, but when it comes down to it, like Nintendo, they keep releasing the same stuff and we complain that there's nothing new, but at the same time we want the old stuff that we really like.
Yep,
so that's
same thing,
the
same
sixth reference for Nintendo.
Same exact argument I would say with Star Wars, actually.
Yeah, so it's never really what we all want, but this particular Doom seems like it's a return. It's a revamp of the thing that we all loved. I would love to see more mobs. Personally, I'd like to see that overwhelming feeling of I'm not going to make it out of this room alive. I've only got a pistol or I've got my fist and that's all I've got. This really does take me back to the shareware version of Doom, to the floppy disks, installing them into the crappy old Packard Bell PC that I was
making sure
running
your computer wasn't connected to the internet so that the CD keys wouldn't cross if you tried to play with friends.
Yeah, which, by the way, id, I apologize profusely for that. But
yep, id,
And
Blizzard,
Steven,
Westwood.
and what about Bethesda, Steven?
Bethesda? You don't want to get me started on Bethesda.
No.
I like their
Within
involvement
context.
with this game for sure.
Obviously, we're not going to talk about Fallout here. Like within context.
No, I think their involvement with Doom is going to be very, very interesting in a good way.
This is where I get a little hesitant, though. Bethesda, to me, is not it's not the AAA darling everybody else sees it as. To me, I feel that, I'm going to say this, I'm sorry, Bethesda is a lazy company. They rely on modders to make their games good. They put out a story which is, by the numbers, cookie cutter, and not all that interesting. It relies on the modding community to make the game fun. And I do not like that. So Bethesda owns id. This is where the politics comes in. Bethesda
I didn't know they owned them.
Yeah. So here's my concern. I hope this doesn't end up being one of those games where I'm super, super excited for it, and it comes out, and then it disappoints me greatly, which is, unfortunately, been the last 4 or 5 episodes of AAA Anonymous, which we also do when we take one day a month and we talk about the big AAA releases. I'm very, very hesitant. I'm very, very scared that we might have something similar because I haven't gotten a chance to play it fully. I regret the fact that I haven't. But I'm really, really hoping that my fears are unfounded.
Me too.
But that
me
being
too.
said,
I shut up, but
relax,
Steven, I promise I shut up, but I just say, Robert, I hope you're ready to write the most professional review you've ever written in your OPN life.
Yes.
In my OPN life.
Yeah, like the responsibility is all yours. You most deserve it.
I cannot wait to play this.
Relax. As someone that prefers story to flat out action, as we've established at this point, what are your thoughts?
So Fred's already talked about the Doom from decades ago. I can't believe it's actually capable of saying that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's 23 years old. That's nuts.
Yeah, people love Doom. Now, why do people want Doom 4? I mean, if they're gonna, what are they gonna do? Release exactly the same game with updated graphics? You're gonna moan about it being exactly the same. So they're gonna try something new, and then you get the Doom 3 incident in 2016, and which is exactly what you said before. That gamers need to make up their damn mind on what they want. In fact, if you love Doom, go and play Doom 1. It still works. I have a computer sitting next to me running Windows 95 for playing the ancient games.
I'm sorry.
That's dangerous.
95 of all things.
You know they
It's not
stopped
connected to the internet
upkeeping
or anything.
Is it also connected to the internet with a
No. I'm not sure it can connect to the internet.
Like you boot up one of those games, you go like make a meal while you're waiting for it to start up.
This is why I have 2 computers. I turn them both on, play my new games, get sick of the new crap they've broken, and go back to the old stuff.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm right now working on a swivel playing my Super Nintendo. So, there you go. Yeah.
I'm
Final
amazed
Fantasy
I
V.
swiveled around
10
during
more
reviews and
references
started
to
playing.
I don't think we want something new here.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Nope.
Rylac has a really good point. It's true. Gamers, and I've bitched about this before on games where the Steam reviewers, I don't count Steam reviews because the majority of them are whiny bastards.
And hilarious sometimes.
And hilarious as well. But yeah, they never know what they want. They say, we want something new, and then it's released, and we're like, we didn't want that new.
Yeah, but you can't talk
I wanted
about
the blue
gamers as
shirt, not the
you
red
can't talk. First of all, you can't talk about gamers as a homogeneous group. That's kind of.
I can and I shall. But yeah, that's true. There's a very vocal minority. As much as we bitch about gamers, as much as I bitch, they're a vocal sliver. But that being said, they're very vocal is the problem. Companies listen to that, and they listen to those vocal minorities.
But I think
ruined my
here,
good game.
all the ancients here want an experience that yes is modern, but it is also true to its core, and that's what. So I don't think we want something different. We want the experience to be true to its core, but a 2016 experience. And if they manage to strike that balance, then they've got the masterpiece that we're hoping for in 2016. And I'm not saying they do. I'm just saying there's the potential.
I would also argue that and once again, another thing I bring up in my opinion editorial is the fact that this is an arena first-person shooter. We have not seen a good one for like a decade. And that beta was awesome and exactly what I wanted. I want to play like a good Quake game again. I want to play Unreal Tournament again. And when I got the chance to play the Doom beta, that hole that was in my heart was filled with visceral demon blood. And I loved it.
So how do you justify that the entire Steam community took a giant dump on it?
Piss on
the Steam community is the way to justify it.
Yes, I would like to say that. But in fairness, people are allowed to have their opinions. I do notice, because I like to play a lot of betas, I've noticed that the OPN crew also likes to do that whenever a beta comes out, I always see the same scale. 75% of people are complaining about it. 25% of people who are realistic are going, hey, it's a beta. They let you play it for free. They're literally using you to do some server testing and game testing. What is wrong with that? People used to get paid for these positions, and now you get to do it for free just because the company's like, hey, we want the community to try out our game.
And so at least they actually offered it for free. Normally, we have to buy the game and find out that we're beta testers.
And and that's another good point. There's the whole area of early access that we jump into. Like when a company offers to puts out their beta, there will be some criticism. People don't need to hound down so badly on the game when it's just a beta. For instance, Doom. We didn't get to see a lick of the single player campaign. It was just the multiplayer. A lot of people liked that. I liked it also. A lot more people apparently wanted to try out the campaign, and they're complaining
the way they complain, I should say, is what leads me to believe that.
Sorry, someone's dying behind me, folks. Yeah, no, it's just they just played Doom. What can I say? The truth of the matter is, the gaming climate is not. I don't think it's as hostile as most media lets us on to believe. I don't want to sound like McAfee on this, but the fact of the matter is, what we find out is that when we ignore the super loudmouths of the gaming community, the sliver of Steam community reviewers that think that posting a 2-sentence review and 10 out of 10 ironically is a full legit review, I tend to stop listening to them. So when I hear about how all these people have a complaint with the game and they're downranking the beta is getting downranked, oh gee, I'm totally going to listen to that. That would be like if I went to Reddit for medical advice. I'm not going to do that anytime soon because someone's going to tell me, hey, swallow this shotgun and pull the trigger. It'll be good for you. I don't trust Steam reviewers because
it did cure Kurt Cobain of the Courtney Love syndrome.
But he had help, damn it. Yeah, of the Courtney Love syndrome. Yeah. Soaked in Bleach. It's a good documentary. Watch it. But yeah, when it comes down to it, this is a game where it's going to be polarizing no matter what side you're on. It's one of those things where you're just going to have to try it and find out. If you haven't gotten a chance to play in the beta like me, you can send all your hate mail to robert@opnoobs.com.
It's actually just Rob.
Okay. It's rob@opnoobs.com. He got a chance to play it. You can hate on him, but really, it's Doom. It's Doom, okay? You can screw it up, but it's so worth it to play it anyway. So, But that being said, let's give away the final game of the evening, and then we're going to go through everything. Caitlin, are you still awake? Can you tell us what the number is?
The number was 88, and it looked like Alti won with his 47, unless somebody
You picked
put a higher
88
number.
out of 1 to 50?
1 to 100.
Yeah. It was 1 to 50, but we'll go with...
Oh,
So
I'm
let's make it 44. Let's make it 44. Let's
No,
make it
I'm
44.
re-rolling.
Oh god,
I'm
that's so
re-rolling.
great.
He's re-rolling, folks.
We
I already
always
handed
do 1 to
it out.
100.
I already handed it out.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, that was great. 88 out of 50. That's a
Congrats.
great percentage.
Did you try to rate Doom?
So we're grading on a curve, apparently, guys. So,
All right.
Fred, do you want to take us out with the last bit of pitching? Because unfortunately, Chris Kellogg is not here to do his Micro Machines pitch. Anything? Are you there, Fred?
Who? Oh, me? Yeah,
Here
myself.
you go.
Yeah, sorry. I said you said. Yeah. Anyways, what do I have to pitch actually right now? Yeah, we're OPNoobs.com, PC Gaming by PC Gamers. We do game reviews, op-eds, indie
Fred, you were
tournaments.
watching the trailer again. Is that why we lost you for a sec?
No, I'm not sure. Can you get me?
Yeah, we
Okay, and most importantly, most excitingly, come keep on supporting our Twitch channel because we're about to go live every single weekend with 10 dev talks, 5 on Saturday, 5 on Sunday in the afternoon with the official studios. And on that note, special thanks to the studio, the devs who actually donated the 2 games that you got in the channel for the giveaways. Thoroughly appreciate it. Thanks everybody for watching. I have a blast every Tuesday. If you want to be part of the show, it's kind of simple. You email Steven@opnoobs.com. Steven normally will get back to you and we'll integrate you into the team. If you want to get started on writing, that's great. But if you get rejected, a lot of us are actually rejects from the writing department, believe it or not, and we all ended up doing stuff like podcasting, competitive gaming, and so on. We just do tons of stuff. And if you really are without any damn skills from a creative standpoint, then just come and hang out on TeamSpeak, man. Like, there's also a lot of us who do that. We also have actually a very cool feature for the people who have no skills whatsoever and actually just enjoy playing games. Well, we need game footage because we're getting into video reviews. So we've got the great Stylo who's taking care of the technical aspect of the shows, who's working a team of people who play games. In return, we send you the key. You play the game, you send back game footage, and your game footage is featured in the video reviews, which is a department in the making. Thanks, Steven.
That was a good stumble. So yeah, the fact of the matter is, if you think you can do better than any of these yahoos that have joined me this week, you can just throw your name at me at steven@opnoobs.com. I promise I might look into it. If you think that you can write better than Robert Kelly or any of the other writers that we have, just go to the site, fire an email off at fred@opnoobs or paris@opnoobs.com. Real super easy to join the team. If you can string words together and it doesn't sound like you've stumbled over everything like I just did, then you should look into that. Or like Fred, but he's French, so we accept it. So from all of us at OPNoobs to all of you, stare at that trailer once more and reflect on how wonderful life is, that we have revenants and all that stuff to kill. But until then, bye everybody, and jazz hands Fred. Oh, yeah.